It's a podcast, it's a video, and more.
Okay.
Welcome to
We Grown.
Question mark?
I'm Jess.
I'm Moyo.
And I'm Shaun.
So first things first, what had you feeling grown this week?
So this week I had a discussion with some coworkers about not letting certain things in life stop you from pursuing bigger and better. And I really went back and started thinking like, dang, I really have to make tough life decisions. Like, I'm an adult. I can't ask my parents like, what should I do? Should I do this and this? And like right now we have to figure stuff out on our own, kind of. Like, we have mentors and we have our parents, but we're in a place in our lives where we are now the people that people are saying, excuse me, ma'am. Like, a little boy said that in a restaurant. I mean, not in a restaurant, in a grocery store. And I was like, who you talking to? Ain't nobody, ma'am.
Sir.
like, ma'am. But yeah, like, just in a place where we have to make tough life decisions. And whatever we decide really is going to affect your life. Like, in college, you decided your major and things like that. But it was like, I can change that. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But now you got a mortgage or you got rent or bills. Like, the decisions you make are so much more important. And as we get older, it's going to continue like that. We get into our families. All of us are married. Like, you got to worry about your husband. Well, I guess all husbands. And so, like, just feeling like, dang, I got to be accountable to myself. I got to be accountable to my husband. I got to be accountable, for me specifically, to my kids. And that's really where we are. Like, we're really grown. Like, it's crazy.
Whole grown.
It's really ridiculous.
30 plus grown. Plus.
You about to be right.
To be plus.
Right.
But we not there.
I'm the youngin' in this group. I'm vibrant and youthful.
I know. You snuck in. You should have
I'm
been a
in
whole
there, though.
year.
I'm in there.
Right. She
I'm
should
in
be.
there.
I know.
But yeah, I think that kind of transitions us into our topic for today. What chapter are we on in life? You want to start us off?
Sure. I feel like this is my upgrade you life chapter. Like, we upgrading. I'm like working on getting a certification. I'm like pushing to get like a better job, a better position. Because at this point I'm just like, why settle for what I have? Why settle for just like being where I'm at? Like, yes, I'm comfortable. Yes, I'm okay, but I can be doing more. I can be, getting more and having so much like on my plate as far as responsibilities, as far as just like leveling up in my career. Being newly married, like there's just a new level of accountability. We're just like, we have a family vision that we want to reach, and I can't reach that if I'm just going to be complacent and just like, okay, like this is comfortable. Like, no.
That's the word.
Yeah. So I think right now, this chapter, I'm like really doing the hard work. It's not fun, but I know it's going to pay dividends.
I mean, so we just moved back from England. I mean, we were there 4 years, so we did a lot of saving. So now we're getting a house built. So that's crazy. Like, we're putting down roots.
Literally.
I mean,
Literally.
I mean, John started a new job. I started a new job. Happy doing the job. It's a challenge. It's brand new. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's really it's a good time. It's great for growth. Yeah. I mean, and then once we get the house done, I mean, it won't be done until later in the year, but like, who knows? I mean, we've started doing research on kids again, because there's all kind of options for that. I mean, there's surrogacy, which is OD expensive for some reason in the US, because over in the UK it was not as pricey.
Universal
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, their laws are just different too.
That
so
too.
like a woman can't charge for having someone else's baby. And here it's like starting off at $70,000, I'll have your child. I mean, but then there are other fees that you pay, so you make sure that they're taken care of, which is not the case here. Then there's adoption. Like we are looking at choices, different things that we can do. Even that though, like depending on how much you make, there's like a slider. So if you make less money, you pay less. You make more money, you pay more. And I was like, oh, that did me dirty. Jeez.
Because you're a big baller.
Yes.
You gotta pay money.
But yeah, I'm like, so we'll get there. So and that's where we are. We're putting down roots, I guess.
Would that be what you call your chapter?
I guess so.
That's a
Yeah.
good little
Putting
title.
down roots.
I think my title would be pivoting. Like, we've done a lot of that, putting down the roots, and now we're comfortable, and I liked your word, complacent in where we are. And we're realizing, okay, now is our time to pivot. It's our time to start moving and figuring out exactly what we want to do next. And really deciding on what risk we're going to take, when we can take those risks, because we both can't say, okay, we're both about to leave our job at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, no, let's pump our brakes.
Yeah.
Let's figure this out. Like, let's think about like what needs to be done in order to get to that point. But yeah, I think our chapter would be called Pivoting, which I just made.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, come on. Pivot.
But yeah,
I like how you did yours in the beginning. Like, it's going to be pivot. I
Yes.
just made that up. You need to get to the end, like,
I was listening to you guys, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I feel like I put down the roots already,
Mhm.
and I don't know if I'm where Jess is just yet, and that's where I want to get to.
Mhm.
And maybe it's like a cycle. Like, we come back to certain things
Yeah.
over and over.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there was a point where I was at that place where it was like, okay, level up. You got to do something. And then I did that,
Mhm.
and then it was like, now we're leveled up,
Mhm.
but there's more levels to
Yeah,
go. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I was told by one of the women that I was talking to. She said, "There's no limits to resources.
Mm.
Why do you feel like there's a limit? The
Yeah.
only limit is in our head. Like, if you say I can only make X amount of money, then that's how much you're gonna make. Like, if you
Mhm.
say, oh, there's millions out there for me to be made, then
Yeah.
you will figure out
That's
how
true.
to get to that point."
So I think piggybacking off of you, there's also been the topic of like friendships and like if your friends aren't, doing this or helping you do this, then like are they really your friends? And there was that one tweet that was saying like y'all don't want friends, y'all want like a board of trustees. Like, and that I think with our friendship, it's not that we again are complacent. It's we all are in our lane, but we also know how to encourage each other to not just stay where we are.
Mhm.
And I think that's like the value of a really good friendship, of a really good like network, is having people who are going to appreciate where you are, appreciate your lane, and not
Mhm.
tell you, oh, you need to get out of that, or you need to be doing what I'm doing. But no, I value what you do. I'm going to support what you do, but I'm also not going to let you like get in the way of yourself. And I think we do a really good job of that. Like, I eventually want to have kids. Like, Moyo has been a great example of like, this is, how I started my family. This is how we operate as a family. Like, Shaun, you guys like have already like saved your money and got a house. Like, that's something we also want to do. So it's just like, I have friends in different phases of life that I can look to or like even talk with and, get advice, get like tips, get pointers, even get encouragement. Like Marcus, he just finished his certification. So it's like having that kind of group is, I think, worth its weight versus just having friends who are just like, oh yeah, we're making money, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Oh, I'm starting this business. Can you contribute this amount of money to it? Like, that may not be where we're at, but we have that power behind each other. And I think that's worth so much more. I do have a follow-up question. So considering the chapter of life that you are in, what do you need from your support group, from your friends, to help you get further along?
Get it.
So,
I think what I need would be just what you already said, like the support and the accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
think
just
it's
someone to
account-
be
yeah.
like, hey, you said this. What are Hey, you said this. What are the steps that you plan on taking? And I have that in my husband, but he's not a pushy. He's not gonna be like, you said you're gonna do this. Like, come on. Whereas I know Jess will be like, didn't you say
Yeah, I'm a
in
bully
this
you.
date you were gonna do X, Y, and Z?
That's true.
So
that
it's
is...
just that, like, okay, let me lay out what my plan is, and we're at the age where we need to be laying out that plan and not just talking about it. Because we'll say one thing today and then forget, like, oh yeah, I was supposed to be doing that. Oh yeah, I did want to take that class, and I never wrote it down to really give myself that accountability, or I just said it in passing and I wasn't really being serious about it. But like, really be serious, be intentional, and have our support group be following up with us, like, hey, what's going on with this? Where are you with that?
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I really appreciate about our group is I mean, like, while we're all very goal driven, and trying to accomplish these things in our lives, we also know how to have a good time. Like, that's one thing I did miss in England. Not that I didn't have a good time. I had a great time there, but I missed having, like, my friends as well. Like, I missed y'all greatly. So then, like, we started doing this. I didn't start it. I just kind of hopped in. It was like, I'm a plan stuff too, because I like to do that. I mean, but like our monthly outings, I love that, and I think it kind of creates that like balance of life where it's like, okay, well, we have our families, we have our friends, also have to have a good time. You also, work and things. But I mean, it's really a thing that is important. At least to me, it is.
Yeah.
And I think before you came, I got to the point where it was like, I don't want to be the one planning things, because it's important to me too, but it's also important that my friends want to do it
that,
and want to, and not just put it on me. And because I have two under two, I was like, listen guys, I can't, like, I want to spend time with y'all, but I can't be the one taking the lead. And it still happened. Like, sometimes we feel like you have to do something in order to make it happen. It's like, no, your friends are there to support you and to help you. And if you tell them you need help, like, you guys might have never even felt like I needed help because I never said it. But once I said it, it was like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, we'll plan it. We'll do it. Like, why are you tripping? It wasn't never that serious. Where all this time I'm like, we don't ever do nothing if I don't do this. But it didn't even have to be that. People just felt like I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Which to some degree I did, because I like things done the way I like things done. But also sit back, relax, let other people do it. And Shaun, you definitely came in and was like, okay, these are the type of things we should be doing. And then I was like, okay, plan it. Like, you can't just say it no more. Like, we're past that, and you missed that transition kind of, but I feel like you fell into it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely think that was something that we all kind of learned, especially with the pandemic. Like, there was just a different level of intentionality that had to start happening. And then again with Moyo, like, having two kids, it's like I can't be, minding my household and then also trying to do all the planning for all of these events. And so, like, again, when she spoke up, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Like, I'm okay with planning stuff. I'm definitely down to plan the stuff, especially stuff that I want to do. Like, I think as far as our group goes, that was a great idea. Like, if you come up with the idea, you plan it, because that's going to be something that you're, passionate about, or something that you want to try with everybody. And if people can make it, they can make it. Or if we need to move it, it's still on you to kind of, like, adjust. Yeah.
I was talking to John about that, because I was like, I feel like I'm going to end up planning too many events. And then he was like, I mean, well, is that bad? You're going to do what you want to do. And I'm like,
yeah.
You're right.
And and that's how I feel. Like, if it's something I want to do, I'll plan it. But also, I'm also the person that's like, if you need help planning something, just let me know. And I'm going to be there to help you plan it. Like, like your husband, like, him and my husband were trying to plan her birthday, and I'm just like, okay, y'all need to include me.
This isn't gonna work.
I'm like, I need to be included. Like, I think.
And then another thing about like our places in life, like, I know with me, I try and, like, I know our last outing was an expensive restaurant. It was more expensive than what I thought it was gonna be, but I try and do like keep it balanced. I definitely found that Groupon. I was like, we gonna Groupon it up today, because this is a big one. So the next one, I'm thinking hiking, just because friends who want to hike but don't. Um, but yeah, I mean, because that's like a free thing. I will figure out. One thing I was considering is like the kids. So I was like, how is that gonna work?
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. And I know that people try to think about the kids, and I want you guys to think about them, but also I also want to get out of always having to take them places, because we do need our adult time. Like,
Yeah.
this is our time to go hang out with our friends. Like, if it's a everybody's in a house type of setting, then yeah, like, yeah, think about them and their schedule or things like that. But also, I was talking to Maurice, and he's like, well, if you don't go, I'm not gonna go. And I'm like, we're grown. Everybody should be figuring out what they want to do for themselves. Like, it shouldn't be based on if I'm there. Like, sometimes I'm not going to be able to be there. I can't be at every event that we do, and that's okay. Like, we've gotten to the point where everyone, like, there's events we do and we have a larger group, and one couple might not make it, or three couples might not make it. Like, it's okay.
Yeah,
Like, we need
that's
to just
perfectly
get
fine.
past that. Oh, if it's not the whole group, then we can't do the event. That mindset.
Yeah.
And no one person is the glue to our friendship. Like, we all have individual friendships. We have friendships in different little pods, but then we also have our full group friendship, which is fine. Like,
Yeah. I think that's how me and my husband try to consider it. It's not about who we're most comfortable around or who we hang out with the most, but it's about fostering that relationship with whoever is, hosting or, planning this event, and also just supporting them out of support. Like, we'll let you know our schedule, but if it's something we really want to do, we're going to try to make it, because again, like, and then we also don't have kids. So it's just like, why not? But I think part of that, of like, oh, if you're not going to go, then I'm not going to go, is definitely like that comfort with like, oh, I know this person more. If there's, awkwardness, I know I can like at least fall back on this person. So I get it from that aspect of like, I'm comfortable around who I'm comfortable around, but I definitely think there is so much more value in having that autonomy. And then also like giving other people like that chance to present, or to even just get to know them. Because like that one brunch we planned with the other couple, like, you guys were invited but you couldn't make it, but we still did it, and we really got to like sit and get to know them very, very well. So I do think, like, again, it really is valuable to support other people in the group. And you might even end up adding more people to the group.
I mean, I think that's all just part of growing up,
Yeah.
because remember, we grown.
Not you in these camera looks. But yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Ooh, let me say, I think so in my chapter, of upgrading my life. Let me upgrade you. I think I'm in a very sensitive space, studying for the certification, and then also like coming off of the heels of being diagnosed with like ADHD. So it like a lot more things make sense as far as like school and like why I did well sometimes and I didn't do well. So I think now with the certification, there's a lot of that like coming back. So like having that encouragement, like I haven't really outwardly said it, but like I've definitely appreciated like the encouragement of like, you got this, like, it's not going to be that bad. Like, you're already doing the work. Like, it's really been helpful to like kind of keep going. And then also the accountability, like, oh, when's your exam? I was just like, oh, well, I don't want to keep getting asked that question. So yeah, I think that accountability and encouragement for sure have been like things that I need in this season. And even with the job of like, you telling me like, girl, why are you telling these people you'll start later? Like, take the money and go. Like, I think that's the other part of like not shrinking myself, or, taking that step back and being, quote unquote humble, but really going after what I want. Like, if it's there, if it's presented, then why wouldn't I take it?
Yeah, that's true. I always try and think, like at work, like, would somebody else just leave? And usually the answer is yes. And it's like, well, I ain't gonna hold myself back.
Yeah. Yeah, and definitely got to have that mindset. And I think for me, I'm such a loyalist in a sense, where it's just like, oh, but I've built relationships here, and oh, this person like really
Mhm.
needs me, and it's just like,
They don't need you.
no, they don't need me.
Yeah.
Like,
I also think like, dang, if I got hit by a bus, they surely would have that ad out the
Mhm.
next day. Like,
Mhm.
that's so sad.
Post his job.
Yeah.
Yep. Like, well,
Yeah.
somebody else will do it. You're right. They will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how it goes.
I don't think we want to end on that note because that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
little depressing. You got hit by a bus and they replaced you. But yeah, I think with all that said, we're trying to figure things out. Like we're grown, but life is never black and white. Like there's always things that we need to figure out. We're gonna keep growing, keep starting and ending chapters, and hopefully doing it together. Like
Yeah.
for however long that takes. Like I read something where they were saying that friendships are almost as close as a marriage. Like those people you choose, you do life with them just as much as you do
Mhm.
with your spouse.
Yeah.
So when we chose each other, we're choosing each other to do life with and to go through all of these different chapters.
I like
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
y'all are my people. Y'all can't break up with
that.
me.
True. I mean, it's been like 10 plus years now.
It
At
has
this
like
point.
literally
10
all of
plus
our
years.
relationships
Yeah.
are longer than the relationships we have in our marriages and all of
Yeah.
that. Like it's like
Yeah.
I was here first. But no. But yeah, your husband's come first, but still, I was here first.
We old.
Yeah,
We actually are.
We grown.
we grown.
Question mark.